Hello there, I'm Keo Cerrone Beatmaker, and welcome to Lounge Ronin. All things, everything. And on this episode, we're going to discuss the Tates released. Is the Matrix buckling? Now, before we get into it, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, share this stream, and leave a comment with your thoughts below. So here we have Andrew Tate's statement since being released. And I'll play it for you guys right now.
I have no resentment in my heart for the country of Romania or for anybody else. I just believe in the truth.
It was political, so
I believe in God, and I think that the fire of truth will eventually destroy all lies, and anybody who lies in a long enough time frame will feel the sting of regret, and I believe in it.
yeah, sure.
I truly believe that justice will be served in the end. There is 0% chance of me being found guilty of something I have not done. I maintain my absolute innocence, and I think most people understand this, and I look forward to being home. So thank you very much, everybody.
What are your plans for the next days?
When I was in jail, I did 7,417 push-ups.
I make the
So there you have it. Andrew Tate and his brother have been released. Sorry. Here he is. Back home in his compound. Says here, since last year, I've been in 24-hour lockdown, no yard time, pacing in a 3-meter cell with zero electronics or outside contact, absolute clarity of mind, real thoughts, real plans, vivid pain. 1 hour home and I can't stand my phone. Some habits die hard. Must defeat Satan. And I'm sure you can read between the lines in that last part. So it's very interesting and I guess you could also say not surprising. Oh, look at this. Andrew Tate has, been speaking out against, as he calls it, the Matrix. And here he is released on March 31st, the same day that the first Matrix film was released. So it's very interesting that you know, not about I mean, it is kind of symbolic in a way. I don't know if there could be some symbolism in there, maybe some ritualistic symbols. I'm not really sure. Maybe the Gematria guys out there can figure that one out. But, if you listened to my live stream a while back I did on Eliza Blue, I spoke on the fact that, you know, he's most likely was going to get released from prison. If you know anything about, the history of 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 Europe and or of any country. And if you know, a little bit about Romania, and you know it's a bit of a corrupt country in terms of its government and the way things operate, you shouldn't be, it shouldn't be surprising how this whole thing happened. And the fact that he has spoken about how he moved to Romania because it allows him to live the type of lifestyle he wishes to live, whether you agree with it or not. The fact is that this man continued to, speak out against the matrix, or as I like to put it, the military, corporate, pharmaceutical, industrial complex. And, he continued to speak out. He continued to advocate for self improvement, for accountability. He advocated for men to, be the best versions of themselves, to really take initiative and take back their masculinity. Things that are, lacking in this world and lacking in men right now in the culture in Western society. So he was saying things that, perhaps people were not very, because of the social political climate that we're in right now, people, certain groups of people were not too keen on his rhetoric and his words because it actually was seeming to make a wave, and people were beginning to listen to him. And one thing I said, back in my live stream that I did about Eliza Blue, and I talked about Andrew Tate, and I talked about Brittany Venti, and how she went on this whole triade saying that he's an ex trafficker and all this fun jazz. And I have no disrespect towards Brittany Venti. I think everything that's been going on with her is completely egregious and not right. But I also was also very well aware, you don't make accusations against someone unless there's really truly substantial evidence, especially when it comes to trafficking. And I know she's done her live streams breaking down how he tells men how to use these certain tactics and all that fun jazz. And like I said, I believe in that past live stream, and I'll say it here again. You know, take the average looking guy who's 5'2", all right, and who works at McDonald's, and is not the most good looking guy. If you really think him subscribing to Andrew Tate's how to be a man service, if you really think he's going to be able to pull off using those exact same tactics as Andrew Tate, you're being foolish. And I'm not trying to be disrespectful, but like, come on now. Those type of guys, no woman would look at him or even acknowledge him. Most women don't even want to talk to a guy who's 5'10", 5'11". I saw a video of a little person. She must be like, I don't know, like 4'3", 4'6", and she said her ideal height of a man was 6'8". I mean, like, come on now. Let's be real here. Um, so I look at things like that, and I look at Eliza Blue and how she was like, oh, I mean, has anyone checked in on Eliza Blue now that Andrew Tate's released? I mean, she said that she had, in contact with the victims, and she had this, big ass statement. Has anyone checked in on her? I mean, it's like, and I said it. I was like, all the people out there saying that he's guilty, saying that he's a trafficker, all of this stuff. I was like, you're gonna look really foolish when he's released, and he's released. Sure, it's under house arrest, but he's released. They didn't break him. Look at him. You saw the video. Yeah, look at the video. Look at him. Looks, didn't break him. pacing back and forth, smoking a cigar, contemplating. Sure, they took his cars and money and all of that, but they didn't take his mind. And that's the most important thing about this. This is the point I'm trying to get across. They didn't take his mind. They didn't break him. And here he is. So, what does that do for the movement? For the manosphere movement? He's their patron saint. What does that do for the movement? What does that do for the matrix, for the narrative, for for the feminists that hate Andrew Tate? You know, are they going to now come after Pearly Things as well? Are they going to? They've already called her a slave master. Are they going to now call her a trafficker as well? It's just funny to me how you know the consequences of drinking the Kool-Aid, is that you end up being wrong every single time. And what I mean by that is you end up being on the wrong side of history or the wrong side of a viral moment. Right now, I've been searching for this beer for a very long time. Butterscotch beer. Non-alcoholic. I don't drink alcohol. But boy, oh boy, does it hit the spot. But what I'm saying is that this is why look at Jonathan Majors. Look at the whole situation with Jonathan Majors. He's has text messages that are allegedly clearing his name. There's footage. Why do you think Disney hasn't fired him immediately? They don't want another Johnny Depp, and also the fact that they are pretty much building the entire next phases of Marvel around Jonathan Majors. Look at Justin Roiland from the Rick and Morty. Look at Andrew Tate. Now, those guys are a little bit different in some regards. But the fact remains, what happens when people jump to the conclusion of calling someone guilty when the evidence hasn't even been brought out, when nothing has been, made to the table, when there hasn't even been a trial. Look at the dude has been in prison for nearly a year. No trial, no nothing. The women coming out saying we were never trafficked, putting out statements saying we were never trafficked. The judge and them telling them, oh, they don't know what they're talking about. But now I mean, come on. Like, use your critical thinking skills. Take a break from sucking the taint of the Kool-Aid and use your critical thinking skills and look around you at this situation and see it for what it is, regardless of whether or not you like Andrew Tate or not. And I'm not here trying to preach that I'm a Andrew Tate fan or anything like that. I'm a fan of individuality. I'm a fan of freedom of thought, freedom of expression. I'm a fan of being your own person, of being the best version of yourself. And regardless of whether or not you like Andrew Tate or not, the man made himself. Regardless of his history of, his father and his ties to intelligence and all that. If we're going to go down that route, we could say that this was an op. Maybe this was an op. Who knows? But I don't think it was, because it clearly did not work in their favor. There was only so much that they could keep him in prison for, especially if they don't have any real evidence or anything to hold him in prison for, to confine him. Like I said, I really think they wanted him to break. They wanted him to be like, confess and yes, I did this, whatever, to get him out of that situation. And it didn't work. It sounds like to me, he killed them with kindness and mental fortitude. And and this is a prime example and something for many of us out there to look at, and as an example of what they want to do to us as individuals. They want to isolate us. They want to strip us of our rights, of our individualism, under false pretenses, under climate change, under COVID, under racism, under transhumanism, you name it. And this is something that many of us as humans, we have to look at as a call to stay vigilant and mindful of ourselves in our environment, and those in power who wish to take control of our environment, of our personal universe, as I like to put it. And that's what you're seeing right now happening in real time. And um sorry, I got distracted. We and now it's time for us as individuals to take initiative and advocate for ourselves, our autonomy. And keep in mind that with that comes the threat of being incarcerated, it seems like. I mean, look what's happening with former President Trump. The you have the attack on your political beliefs. You have the attack on your individuality, your social commentary beliefs. You have the attack on your economic beliefs and choices. I mean, it's right there in front of you. They're attacking our ability to exist as humans. And and Andrew Tate and his arrest and his incarceration is a prime example for what could happen to all of us, and why we need to, regardless of whether or not you like him or anything, be relieved and celebrate his release, because it means that individuality is winning. It means that the matrix is buckling. There's only so much that they can do. And if you listen to my live stream earlier where I talk about um, Trump and being arrested, there, how long were they going to keep him in prison until he becomes a martyr? And then what? And I think this is the problem that the matrix, the military, corporate, pharmaceutical, industrial complex doesn't understand, is that the moment you make martyrs out of individuals, you create champions in the community. And this is to for all of us to advocate for how we can all self improve, and we don't always have to agree with who is speaking on self improvement, but we have to acknowledge the self improvement within themselves. You can, look, the man has been in prison for a year and a half, and it obvious, even though he was in total isolation, he still stayed fit. He worked out. It seems like he kept his mind and his body in the best shape that he possibly could. And that is, look at what happened with the pandemic and the lockdowns. how that essentially, you know, isolated everyone. And if you really think about it in a way, it put everyone in a state of incarceration. We were literally incarcerated in our own homes. And that should really wake people up to the reality of the situation. You know, first it was COVID, next they might, use the climate as a way to lock us down. And think about the amount of mental health issues that have been created and exasperated and fermented during the lockdown. I mean, you in this, it's crazy to think about it. Think about how think about the fact that it just within the span of a year and a half, within the span of when the lockdowns, by the end of the lockdowns, a majority of the population in America has lost its individuality and lost itself and is now completely consumed within the hive mind. It's just crazy to think about that. You know, and not only is it crazy to think about it, it's crazy to think about the implications of what this means. This is why this is why I really listen to my instincts. And it took me a while to get here. I used to second guess my instincts and it would always, bite me in the ass. But in this situation, I think because I'm more willing to listen to my critical thinking skills, and because I also am more of a person that wait until proven innocent or guilty. Some cases it's pretty clear cut and dry, but even then it's like, all right, but I think he did it, but like let's see how it all plays out. And that's kind of how I'm getting now, because the moment you jump to conclusion about things, you you end up either, it can cost you greatly, or you end up looking like a fool. And neither one is advantageous to your self-improvement and your ability to navigate this world and be a fully functioning person. And I think, that is something that's really interesting about Andrew Tate, is that he is a prime example of a fully functioning person within his personhood. He has been able to maintain his balance despite all the chaos that's been going on. It's truly fascinating. So, I don't want people to think that, you know, I don't want people to feel as if there is, I don't want people to feel as if there is a, oh, looks like we're having some technical difficulties. Looks like the Matrix is coming from my stream. What the hell? Am I live still? I'm telling you, did they come after my stream? And I can't tell if I'm still live or not. Okay. I think I'm still live. Okay, I'm not sure if I'm still live or not. Wait, wait, looks like I'm still live. Looks like I'm still live. Yeah, I think I'm still live. I think I'm still live. Yeah, I guess I am still live. I guess they're coming for me. They don't like me speaking truth to power. If that's the case, then I'll wrap this up since that was like 2 minutes of me not knowing what was going on. But essentially, what I'm saying before they cut my stream is that we need to look at the Andrew Tate situation as a prime example of what could potentially come if we as individuals do not stand up for our freedom of thought, freedom of expression, and freedom of living. We need to stand up against the coming storm that is trying to manipulate and control us. And Andrew Tate's release is a clear indication that there is hope for us, that the Matrix is buckling, and they are losing momentum and steam and are becoming desperate. And it is widely apparent. And I believe that there is hope for us, but it takes us all as individuals and as a team to work together. As I always say, a group, a community of individuals with a unified morals and creed, with a clear goal in their values and ethics, can do incredible things. And I believe that is one of the major messages that Andrew Tate was trying to speak on and advocate for. So I believe that that is entirely possible for us, and we must hold steady and hold firm and stand strong. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Lounge Ronin, All Things, Everything. If you made it this far into the live stream, please make sure to hit the like button and leave a comment with your thoughts below on my feelings, thoughts, and perspectives. And make sure to leave a comment on what you think I can do to improve Lounge Ronin. Please, constructive criticism. And until the next time, stay positive, stay focused, stay true, and much love.